Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of MAHSA MedSoc's Footprint. My name is Dhanya, and I'm a third-year medical student. I've been given the opportunity to interview Mun Choon. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Mun Choon?
Hi, my name is Mun Choon. I'm a Year 3 medical student. I've been in the medical society since I was in Year 2, and currently I hold the Vice Secretary post for the medical society.
Wow, so you're part of the medical society and you also hold the post as the vice secretary. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Well, what are your duties as the vice secretary?
As the vice secretary, basically I have to document meeting minutes. I also have to plan and manage the meetings. And I also have to send out emails and letters to third-party people out of MAHSA, lecturers, our seniors, and also the VIPs of MAHSA University. So basically, I'll have to do a lot of paperwork stuff, but it's not so bad, actually.
That sounds like a lot of work. So you have to actually document whatever that you do, and you also have to liaise with a lot of the higher-ups and the lecturers. What do you find as a challenge? Are there any difficulties that you face in particular?
As for my difficulties, I would say that the paperwork part is not so much of a challenge for me because I have seniors, advisors, and also lecturers to help me along the way. So I'm not so lost. But the biggest challenge for me, I would say, is the communication part in this role. Because I'll have to communicate with a lot of people, like different people with different backgrounds in the committee members and also lecturers. So I really have to learn how to communicate well, and it really honed my communication skills as a person.
That does sound pretty intimidating, having to speak to the higher-ups and whatnot. Enough about the challenges. Can you tell us a little bit about the benefits that you have as the vice secretary? What have you gained so far?
As the Vice Secretary, what I've gained is that I have wider connections in the university in a sense that I know more lecturers. I started off in Year 2 and I was pre-clinical, and I already had to communicate and send out emails to lecturers from the clinical side. So what I feel that now I'm in the clinical side, so I don't feel so like foreign with the lecturers.
Right, you're more used to talking to them.
Yeah, at least they know me, and I
you've
also
broken
know
the
them.
ice, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So kind of gives me the upper hand in the clinical, especially. At least they know who you are.
Yeah,
so
it takes away that whole tension.
Yeah, you feel more relaxed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it says here that you're also a part of the Malaysian Medics International,
Yes.
Otherwise known as MMI.
Yes.
And you hold a post as the events executive.
Yes.
How about you tell us a little bit more about that?
So I'm the events executive in MMI Malaysia, and basically MMI Malaysia is a student-led organization which aims to organize events for the medical students.
So they plan events for medical students. What kind of events are these? Can you tell us a little bit about that? And what is your role as the event executive?
So the kind of events that they usually organize are mostly either research or conferences and workshops for the medical students. So the events that I have attended before in MMI is MMI Mental Health as well as MMI Summit. For MMI Mental Health, I was very intrigued by the workshops that they organized, and one of the workshops that I attended was dance movement therapy. And for MMI Summit, it's more on giving research-based. They actually have a research competition which was held, and also they invited a lot of honorable speakers, and it really provided us an insight on what's happening in the real medical industry. My role as an events executive in MMI Malaysia is to organize events. So I will be the chairperson for an event, and the idea will be from me. So I'll have to recruit my own team, sponsorship team, advertising team, marketing team. So at the end of the day, this event will be organized by us via MMI Malaysia.
Right, so it's almost as if you're the backbone for the entire event.
Yes.
Are there any of these events that you have planned, or is it a yet to come kind of a thing?
As of now, I was just recruited around 2 months ago, so I'm considered still a new events executive member, so I've never actually organized any event of my own yet.
That sounds like a really hectic lifestyle that you lead. How do you unwind? You know, I'm pretty sure there are hobbies that you have. Can you tell us?
Usually I'll dance and I also go for a swim.
Wow, so you're a dancer. Is there a specific kind of dance you like doing, or specific kind of a genre music?
I usually go for hip hop, urban and modern kind of dance.
Do you dance alone or with people?
No,
Crew?
I usually dance with my friends, and we usually film covers and upload it on Instagram and also YouTube.
That's pretty impressive, guys. So you like swimming too, right?
Yes.
When did you start swimming?
I started competitive swimming when I was 10 years old.
So when you were 10, that's actually relatively young. So competitive swimming, you do competitions and all that, yeah?
Yeah.
What's the biggest competition you've done so far?
I'd say the biggest competition that I've ever competed in was the 18 Malaysian Games held in Perlis in 2014. But I do believe that every competition has a special place in my heart, but just that for the SUKMA 2014, I was very honored to be able to represent Perlis in one of the country's biggest competition.
So you've competed in SUKMA. That must have been really nerve-wracking. Do you mind sharing with us how you prepare yourself mentally and physically before a competition?
Basically, the preparation has to be done way before the race. It all boils down to your consistency and also your intensity of your training. Usually for mental training, our coach would ask us to do an activity called visualization. So basically in visualization, you'll just imagine and feel that you're in the race, what you should do, what are the mistakes that you're bound to do, just to predict, and it's like a mental simulation of the race.
So what would you say is the best part about competing?
I'd say the best part about competing is you get to finally throw everything out there after preparing, after working so hard for the past months, and then you can just like give your best shot. But sometimes you do make mistakes and you do have setbacks in your races, but that would only shape you into a much stronger individual. It will motivate you to work even harder so you don't repeat the mistakes, and you will keep improving as a swimmer and as a whole.
So I guess you could say that as a swimmer, you get a wholesome learning, you know, as an individual, a lot of experience. Do you just swim competitively? Do you indulge in other activities or swimming?
I also coach.
Oh,
I've been coaching for a year now. Yeah, because ever since I started med school, don't really have time to go for trainings, you know.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so I quit the state team and I had the opportunity to go coach for young kids. So I think it's a very good experience for me.
What's the age frame like? How old are they, the students that you coach?
The ages range from 5 to 9, yeah.
Oh, so how many people do you coach? A rough number?
Usually the class will be 45 minutes and there will be 4 to 5 max.
Do you do it alone? You take the class alone or?
It's a group class, so I would be taking a group by myself.
So what is it like to be a swimming coach?
I'd say it's a very rewarding job in the sense that when you see a kid who doesn't know how to swim at all, and then from your guidance and your teaching, this kid finally knows how to swim, and you feel satisfaction because like this kid knows how to swim already. So it's like from all your hard work and everything. Yeah, also from the kids' hard work as well.
So you're coaching little kids now, right? You have students of your own, but I'm pretty sure that you were coached at one point too. So can you tell us a little bit about that? When did you start? How were you coached? A little bit more?
So I actually started swimming when I was 10 years old. I started off in Jaya swimming pool, and at that time I wasn't in any major swimming clubs or anything. I just started off learning from one of the lifeguards there.
Oh.
Yeah, and then they told me that I should join a swimming club and go competitive. So then I started to join an official swimming club for competitive swimming, and I started off with the beginner group, then I slowly climbed my way through to the advanced group, and then I moved on to Shah Alam, a swimming club in Shah Alam, and from then I was selected as a state swimmer for Selangor, and that was can say that's the peak of my swimming career when I started off as a state swimmer in 2014 up until when I quit last year.
Could you tell us a little bit more on the difference of being a competitive swimmer and also now being a coach? I'm sure there's a difference to it, right?
Yes.
So what's it like now?
It's definitely a change in the perspective from when I was a swimmer and now that I'm a coach. I can finally understand that why sometimes our coaches are just so mad at us, because it's not very easy to handle a group of swimmers with different thinking and ask them to do the same thing because they have different learning capabilities. So you really have to be patient, have to be very motivating for the swimmers to do well and to portray what you see from in them. To have confidence in your swimmers, that's very important. So it really does mature me as a person. Yeah.
You definitely sound like a dedicated coach.
Thank you.
Almost certain that you are. Is there anything else that you would say would differentiate a rookie swimmer from an advanced swimmer? Like, I would like to brush on my swimming skills. Do you think you could give us a few pointers?
I'd say the most important thing is before learning how to swim, if you don't know how to swim, is you have to be confident of yourself in the water. You can't be afraid of the water, because I see most people, they're afraid to even submerge their head into the water.
Right.
Because maybe they have some traumatic incidents, they're afraid of drowning and everything. That's why we say it's fairly easier to coach little kids, because sometimes they just go with it, they just follow whatever you say. It's different for adults, because for adults they have their own thoughts, they have their own fears. So that's the challenge. So in order for you to start swimming, you need to have a mindset of yourself, like conquer your own fear before going to swimming. Because if you sign up for a swimming class and you spend half an hour trying to dip your head into water, and it just defeats the purpose, right? Yeah.
Okay, I definitely get that part. It sure sounds like you have to juggle a lot of things. Do you think you could give us all a few tips on how to balance out med school and also your leisure activities?
Sure.
Yeah.
First, you have to prioritize whatever you are doing. You may have a lot of things to do, but you need to have good time management and prioritize really what's important. You put it first, you settle that, and you slowly work your way through. You don't just rush things or have a panic attack and, I have 10 million things to do, I don't know what to do first. And secondly, I think that you need to have passion in whatever you do. You need to put your heart in whatever you do, just like going to med school. And if you want to take up something else, make sure you really love and have a lot of passion in that, so that you will be better and you can actually step on further in that certain field.
So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Mun Choon, for joining us.
And thank you for having me too.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. And we'll see you again in the next episode of MAHSA MedSoc's Footprints. Wait, before you go, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.